Hello my fellow Christian fiction lovers, welcome to another video. Today I am going to be reviewing The Silent Patient by Alex, I don't know how to say his last name and I'm sorry, but The Silent Patient by this guy. I tried to practice it off camera but I'm not even gonna attempt it. Anyway, it is the fate, I think, of every booktuber to not know how to pronounce authors' names because no one seems to know how to do it. Anyway, I'm going to be reviewing this book today. I recently read it, very recently, and a couple people mentioned that they might want to hear my thoughts on it because it is so popular. I see this book everywhere. It's been out for like 2 years now, I think, and I still see people reading it and reviewing it and just having so many things to say about it. And because it is so popular, when I did get the chance to read it, I was like, hey, I want to do it, I want to review it, and throw my 2 cents into the very full pile of reviews. But I am going to be doing a review of this book, but also a Christian review, because that is basically what my channel is, Christian reviews. So if you don't want to hear a Christian viewpoint of this book, maybe go somewhere else, because I definitely will be talking about it from a Christian standpoint, and I have a lot of things to say in that vein of discussion, so yeah, please don't get mad at me, I did warn you. Okay, so The Silent Patient is all about a lot of things. It's kind of complicated, but basically in the first chapter we learn that this woman, Alicia Berenson, has killed her husband one fateful night. She shot him 5 times in the head, and after she kills him, she does not speak ever again, hence the name of the book, The Silent Patient, because she is silent. And instead of being sentenced to prison, she is declared insane and sent to this prison asylum. And the narrator of the book, Theo, I think was his name, yeah, he is a psychotherapist and he gets a job at this prison asylum, and his main goal when getting the job is to do these therapy sessions with Alicia so he can understand why she killed her husband and why she doesn't talk. And he gets the chance, and it's quite interesting, and just there's so many places that this book goes. I'm going to be honest, his story, Theo, the narrator's story, his personal life, I didn't like it. I just did not vibe with that area of the story, and I was like, why is this being included? But you find out why it's included. It's very important to know what's going on in his personal life. And there is a big plot twist at the end of this book. I knew that going into it. I think you should too. I don't know, maybe it's better not to know when there are twists. Despite knowing there was a twist, it still blew my mind. I kept trying to predict what it was going to be, and I was like, oh, is this the twist? Is this the twist? And then the twist came and I was like, that's the twist. Oh my word. And while this wasn't a 5-star super stellar book for me, it did shock me. The twist, whew, I did not see it coming, and I definitely was reevaluating everything I'd read, and yeah, I definitely think this book is meant to be reread. I don't want to at the moment for multiple reasons, but I definitely think it's meant to be read a second time so you can go back knowing the full truth and combing through all the scenes and all the chapters. So I gave this book 3.75 stars for multiple reasons. It was a great thriller. The concept was great. The twist was great. But I had a lot of moral problems with it, and as a Christian, I always will have moral problems with books like this that use cursing as normal language. I do not curse. I do my very best to stay away from cursing in literature because it just makes me think it's normal, and I don't like to use those words because it's not normal in my family or in my life. I think you know what I mean. So this book definitely uses swear words all the time, and I really did not like reading that part of it because they were unnecessary. Sometimes cursing is it emphasizes a sentence, as terrible as that sounds. In this book, it was just another adjective, and I'm not okay with that. Also in this book, so much sexual misconduct. I did not like that either. I was really hoping that this book would not fall under the cliche of motives of like jealousy because of like an affair. I don't know how to talk about the book without spoiling it. It was so cliche with characters being jealous of their partners having affairs, which is normal, of course, but I just felt that those motives did not fit the super stellar reviews I'd heard. I thought it was going to be something a little different, whereas that just kind of fell flat. One, because I don't like reading about affairs, they're just not okay, and two, because it's so overused and overdone, and it's like, can we just come up with something new of motives, of characters? Like, it's old by now, if that makes sense. I guess this is some slight spoilers. Actually, not slight, these are pretty big spoilers, so skip ahead if you don't want these spoilers. But basically, Alicia kills her husband because he cheated on her. And I just thought that was, like, while she has every right to feel jealous that her husband cheated on her, because that's terrible, I just felt like the way that this book built up to when she killed him, I was like, it's got to be something more than that. It's got to be something more. And there was a little something more, but it wasn't enough for me. I was like, I needed something better than he cheated on her. I needed something better than that. I don't know. That might sound terrible, and I probably will look back at me editing this and think that is a terrible thing to say, but I just felt like it was, just fell into like every other book out there. So, spoilers over. Let's see. Okay, so this book deals a lot with psychology and like mental health and trauma and stuff, which really interests me. I love psychology. I'm a big psychology nerd. But the way it was presented in this book is basically the trauma we have and the way we respond to trauma is all based off of what happened in our childhood and how we either were properly nurtured to or not properly nurtured by our caregivers. And while I do believe that what happens in our childhood definitely aids in how we respond to trauma and how we process trauma, it is not the sole cause. Like, just because we've developed into adults doesn't mean we can't keep learning and growing with our psychological reactions. And this book didn't paint it that way. It was very Freudian in its psychology conversations, and I just wasn't a fan of that because I have different views and beliefs about trauma response. So that was a me thing. But I just feel like it's very misleading in the way that like all the psychologists, all the psychotherapists talked as if like this is standard practice in psychology, and it used to be, but it's not anymore, and so I just didn't love that aspect. I think those are most of my thoughts. So if you want to stay away from cursing and sexual I guess misconduct, immorality in books, definitely stay away from The Silent Patient. I honestly would not recommend it because of those two reasons alone. I would never want someone to pick up this book based on my recommendation and think, oh my gosh, she's recommending me a book with this kind of content. So for that reason, I proceed with caution. I'm not saying don't read it, but I'm also not saying do read it. So please hear that loud and clear. I am glad that I got the chance to read it. It was definitely an easy read. Like, the chapters are so short, I was flying through it. So if you kind of need to get out of a reading slump and you want to read just like a kind of thriller mystery really fast, definitely would be the book, could be the book for you. Again, I'm anxious to tell you to read it. I don't really want to say go read it. So yeah, proceed with caution. Those are my thoughts. And again, this was a Christian review. If you don't care about any of the things that I talked about as warnings, then do as you will with this video. But let me know if you've read it, if you're planning on reading it, what your general thoughts are on the book. Would love to chat about it in the comments, see what other Christians think of it. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, don't forget to give it a like, and if you want to see more content like this, go ahead and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Until then, bye!